In this video, we'll go through the top 5 hardest questions in the Australian citizenship test. For each question, we'll break it down, explain the correct answer, and summarize the key information you need to know for this topic. Which of the following is not a role of the Governor-General of Australia? Option A. Signing bills into law, royal assent. Option B. Acting as the head of government. Option C. Approving the appointment of federal judges. This question is about the role of the Governor-General. I think this can be tricky because we need to understand exactly what the Governor-General does and how their role fits into Australia's government. First things first, did you know the Governor-General is not part of the government? That's right. They must remain neutral at all times. Now, what do they actually do? Well, their responsibilities include signing all bills passed by Parliament into law, this is called royal assent. Performing ceremonial duties, things like official events and national celebrations. Approving the appointment of the Australian government, its ministers, federal judges, and other officials. Starting the process for a federal election. And here's a big one, they act as the Commander-in-Chief of the Australian Defence Force. But that's not all. The Governor-General also has special powers called reserve powers. These can only be used in specific circumstances, kind of like a last resort in the system. This role is super important because it helps keep Australia's democracy stable and functioning smoothly. The process of making laws in Australia involves multiple steps. What is the final step before a bill becomes law? Option A. The Prime Minister signs the bill into law. Option B. The High Court reviews and approves the bill. Option C. The Governor-General gives royal assent by signing the bill. Now let's talk about how laws are made in Australia. The Australian Parliament has the power to create and change laws to benefit the nation. But how does this process actually work? It all starts with a proposal for a new law or a change to an existing one. This is called a bill. The House of Representatives and the Senate carefully consider, debate, and vote on the bill. If a majority of members in both houses agree, the bill is sent to the Governor-General. The Governor-General's role here is to sign the bill into law, a process known as royal assent. State and territory parliaments follow a similar process to make their own laws. So, every law we follow today has gone through this structured process before becoming official. What is the key principle of freedom of speech in Australia? Option A. People can express their ideas freely as long as it is within the law. Option B. People can say anything they want, even if it promotes violence. Option C. Only newspapers and TV stations have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is an essential part of Australian democracy, but do you really understand what it means? Let's break it down. People in Australia are free to express their ideas, meet for discussions, and even protest peacefully. This means you can share your opinions openly, whether it's in person, on social media, or through the news. But there are limits. Freedom of speech does not allow you to promote violence, make false accusations, or encourage others to break the law. Respect for others' opinions is also important, as long as they are lawful. What does equality under the law mean in Australia? Option A. Only men have the right to vote and stand for Parliament. Option B. Everyone is treated equally regardless of their background. Option C. Only Australian-born citizens have full rights. Equality is a fundamental part of Australian society, but what does it actually mean? Let's take a closer look. In Australia, all people have equal rights, regardless of their gender, age, religion, disability, race, or background. The law ensures that no one is given special treatment or discriminated against. Men and women have the same rights and opportunities, whether it's education, employment, voting, or even joining the police or military. Discrimination based on gender is illegal. People are free to marry whoever they choose, including same-sex marriages, and they have the right to make their own decisions about personal matters like religion and relationships. Most importantly, violence or intimidation against a spouse or partner is a criminal offense in Australia. If someone wants a divorce, they can apply for one, even if their partner disagrees. What is the key principle of mutual respect in Australia? Option A. People should respect the dignity and freedom of others. Option B. People must always agree with each other. Option C. Physical violence is sometimes acceptable in disagreements. Respect and tolerance are at the heart of Australian society. But what do they actually mean in everyday life? Let's explore. In Australia, everyone must respect the freedom and dignity of others, even when they disagree. Violence is illegal, whether it's physical or verbal abuse. Australians believe in peaceful disagreement and the right to feel safe. The age of sexual consent is 16 or 17, depending on the state or territory. Relationships involving a minor under this age are illegal. Police must be respected and their lawful instructions must be followed. Australians commit to obeying the law. Tolerance means listening to others, even when you don't share their views. Racism is unacceptable, whether in person, online, or at public events. Discrimination and violence have no place in Australian society.